Baldur's Gate 3 bolded Microsoft's gate.
MSI baldered Intel's gate, and Nvidia is gonna balder your PC. They don't care about gamers anymore, and that we have all of the details we need to prove that information based on speculation now.
Great.
Okay, let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. That's Friday, August 25th, 2023. Didn't even need to look.
Friday, baby.
Woo, you're excited. And if you're an Xbox owner who only plays on Xbox for some reason, you should be excited because Larian Studio is announcing that they are going to be able to release Baldur's Gate 3 this year! After having a conversation with Xbox and Microsoft's team to discuss the fact that they couldn't bring Baldur's Gate 3 to the Series S and give it split-screen co-op. And one of the requests from Microsoft was having feature parity between the Series X and the Series S, or delivering roughly the same game. Turns out that Microsoft acquiesced to that a little bit, and the Series S will still get things like cross-save progression between Steam and the Xbox Series consoles. Some good stuff going on there. If you have a Series S, let's say you want to upgrade to the X to play that local co-op, well, that can be done when you upgrade, and your save will carry over. So good stuff from Microsoft and Larian Studios on this, but this is coming after many developers have said that the Series S appears to be holding down development when it comes to these consoles. And Phil Spencer at Gamescom had some direct comments, at least with certain outlets that wanted to talk about this, specifically saying, I don't see a world where we drop the S in terms of requiring game devs to develop for it, but saying in terms of parity, I don't think you've heard from us or Larian that this was about parity. I think that's more that the community is talking about it. There are features that ship on the Series X that do not ship on the S, even from our own games, like ray tracing that works on the X is not on the S in certain games. So for an S customer, they spent roughly half what the X customer bought. They understand that it's not going to run the same way, but they do expect that game developers will be required to launch on both consoles. Additionally, when asked about a game like Forza not actually having split screen, and one of the reasons for that might be that it can't be done on the S, so they chose not to, he tries to say that let's decouple these issues a little bit. It has nothing to do with hardware. They just decided to not give it local co-op, despite the fact that Phil Spencer loves local co-op like Vampire Survivors. It's just not going to be there. Additionally, this makes it so that Starfield, even though this is a first-party title, is going to have some differences between the X and the S.
Makes sense.
I guess some of this feels like it might be that the devs are choosing not to implement things.
I feel like it's a way of devs to like push back a little against this, but
yeah, I feel like there might be some things that devs aren't telling Phil Spencer, or they aren't having direct conversations with him about, and so he can say, they're not saying that, but in reality, that's one of the reasons why they're choosing not to focus on it, because they're like, it's not easy to develop for, so why would we focus on it? I don't know, but this is good news to Xbox people. We've been enjoying Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to launch on PlayStation in less than 2 weeks.
I want more people to play it. It's great. We should
play more Baldur's Gate 3, and you should check out today's video sponsor. If you find yourself too busy for a personal skincare routine, then it's time to hear about Geology, who's partnered with us to bring you today's episode of Hot News. If you've been around for a while, you know that my hair and my body has been through a lot in the past few years, as well as my skin. And as a father of 3 and a business owner, finding the time to focus on self-care is really difficult to come by, which is where Geology comes in. Geology is a 24-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company, recognized in plenty of popular publications. Geology skincare helps you fight acne, prevent wrinkles, target signs of aging, and more, which are rapidly developing. I know I look young, but it's not going to stay that way forever. And it's all built around just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Their vitamin C plus E ferulic serum is a powerful combo that protects your skin against environmental stressors like free radicals that break down collagen, which make your skin look aged and dull. They've also got great smelling body washes that are free of harsh ingredients and dermatologist-tested aluminum-free deodorant with scents like jasmine and clove, bergamot and juniper, and fresh eucalyptus. And especially if you don't know what you're doing with your skin like me, they even have a quiz that you can take to help find what regimen suits your goals for your skin as well. And right now, for a limited time, they're hooking you up with an absolutely insane offer. Use my code UFD Tech 70 or scan the QR code on the screen, and they will give you an exclusive 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. On top of that, you can get 30% off the add-on products of your choice when you add it to the trial. This is one of the best offers you will see, so check it out before it's gone. So you can check out the link in the video description, or again, scan the QR code on the screen, use code UFD Tech 70 to get that 70% off, as well as save big on the add-on products of your choice. Big thanks again to Geology for sponsoring today's video. Just like Geology goes on your skin, MSI is getting under the skin of Intel, because especially with these MSI Insider live streams that they're doing, they are just continually leaking information that they are not supposed to. So they showed off some NDA information during their live stream, especially with specific details, and according to video cards, the video was still available at the time of recording. It is no longer. It has been taken down. And that's because they showed off a slide with saying NDA do not share, which they obviously did, talking about how there are no architectural changes between Raptor Lake and Raptor Lake Refresh, going from 13th gen to 14th gen. They're roughly the same. They're going to be about 3% faster on average when it's the same amount of cores, which, as long as they're charging the same or less, is fine. This is not supposed to be a big upgrade. AMD is not coming out with a big upgrade this year, so I think Intel's thinking they can give us a little bit more. But chips like the 14700K are getting 4 more E-cores, so they're roughly 17% faster when it comes to multi-threaded performance, which is good, especially if it's the same price.
Yeah.
If the 14700K costs what a 13700K did, and you're getting more E-cores,
you're just getting a better deal overall.
Better, it's good soup.
Good soup.
That brings it closer to what the 13900K is now, 12 E-cores versus the 16 E-cores. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But again, Intel's supposed to be announcing this themselves in September. MSI did it for them now.
Counterpoint, this is a great thing because we can talk about it then on our news.
Thanks for giving us content, MSI. And MTT, thank you for giving DirectX 11 support to your graphics cards. More threads. Actually, this Chinese brand GPU that launched, I think, last year.
Yeah,
might have been this year. Did not have a whole lot of game support.
No.
They're developing their architecture, they're figuring out how to do it all themselves, but now it officially supports DX11, which Intel, even though they've been in graphics forever when it comes to integrated stuff, they still are struggling to optimize their GPUs for DX11. They recently had that announcement that they're getting faster at it, and now the MTT S80 and otherwise can now play DX11 games, and they have a list of Genshin Impact, sir.
Whoa,
you
number one.
You should buy one of these.
Look at it go.
Also, like BioShock 2 and Subnautica Dave's Journey, Humans Fall Flat. It's rolling out. We're getting another option, not for Westerners, but it's at least a burgeoning market where more players can actually enter into.
I'm down for that.
And we were down for the PlayStation Portal. We were not down for Sony's headphones, but they're just developing more because it has now been announced that Sony is buying, or at least PlayStation is buying Audeze.
Audeze what?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Audeze is going to be able to operate independently and develop their own products, but they also make the planar magnetic headphone drivers that are being featured in the latest Pulse headphones that are coming out from Sony.
I've seen a couple people talking about it.
So
I don't know enough about it yet.
It's good to fuse them together, but it's also just, I wasn't expecting this to happen. Sony now has Audeze, and we're going to give Audeze deals. That's what we're going to do.
I like that one. And hey, deals, welcome back everyone. First up today we have this Lexar NM790 Gen 4 NVMe M.2 SSD. This 4TB version is currently going for only $188.95, which...
That's a lot of terabytes!
Sounds unbelievable because SSD prices for the longest time have been so out there.
They're collapsing now. Those prices are dropping like stones in a river.
Throw this in your PlayStation 4.
4?
5.
Wow. You in 2013?
I can't even count. But then next up we have the Sparkle Intel Arc A750 Orc OC Edition.
Sparkle!
This 8K graphics card is going for only $199.99, making it $40 off. And if you like blue,
Sparkle!
Sparkle. And then lastly we have this Royal Kludge RK98 wireless mechanical keyboard with brown switches, going for only $63.99, making it $36 off. And I like this keyboard.
Sparkle.
And a special little section, we're checking out something from our friends and channel sponsors, Jawa. With today's PC coming from Midtown PCs, featuring a Ryzen 5 3600, an EVGA RTX 2060 KO, which I haven't seen in a while.
Oh, it's because they've been knocked out.
16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 running at 3200 megahertz, a Gigabyte B450M motherboard, a 1TB MSI Spatium NVMe SSD. Powering everything, we have an EVGA 700 watt 80 plus bronze power supply, all fit in a Lian Li LANcool 205M micro ATX case.
Woo!
You can pick all this up for only $600.
Woo!
And I just want to say thanks once again to Jawa for letting us check this out.
Sparkle.
And with
Sparkle.
that, the deals are done.
Sparkle.
You can find these and more
Sparkle,
linked in the
sparkle.
video description down below.
Sparkle.
But until next time,
Sparkle, sparkle.
sparkle, sparkle.
What a great deal. And you know what else I think is a great deal? This new desk PC, okay? This is the
Desk
Unevn desk PC. They're launching the base portable gaming desk. Kyler, you're gonna want to see this.
Explain.
Why don't you bring yourself over here? We can show you the Unevn base portable gaming desk.
It's an uneven base.
The company's called Unevn, and the product is called Base.
I thought you meant that the table was uneven.
No, it's
doesn't
the
make any
opposite
sense.
because it's supposed to be for esports players who want to tote around their system either to LANs or to actually bringing to their different competitions and boot camps, like just trying to play with other players, trying to get that done. So this is a Finnish company of two brothers trying to bring some high quality gaming desks out to the market, making it portable. This thing, look at that, those feet look very sturdy. That tabletop looks really good. Where's the computer, you might ask? Oh, that's how it folds up. Where's the computer?
Inside, I'm assuming.
Inside. You open the little flaps and then it can hold your keyboard and your mouse and your
Ah.
monitor even.
Okay.
Look at how it supports the monitor in the middle so that you can just have that mounted there too.
Okay.
It has a monitor storage compartment.
And keyboard and mouse storage compartment as well.
This makes a lot more sense than what I was picturing.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
a great idea. And actually, it's even available for sale over on their website right now. So you can build your setup. Guess the price. No computer or monitor included.
Oh, just the table?
Just the table.
I said the same thing yesterday, but I feel like it's got to be $1,000.
$12.90. That's not bad.
That's about what I would expect.
If you want to add in a PC with a 7800 X3D and a 4070 Ti, it bumps it up to $34.90. And if you want to add in a 24-inch 360 hertz esports monitor, that brings it up to $4,000.
All of which I do.
You want that?
I don't just want the desk.
That's true, but you can build in your own PC. You can no pre-assembled components, no pre-assembled monitor. You can add it right on in.
Can we get one?
Uneven. We'll do a video.
I don't understand the name.
It is a little weird for a table, like a desk. You want to
Yeah.
call yourself uneven, then
Yeah.
Does it have handles that you can pick it up?
I think
Also, what do you do about a chair?
you hope that the venue you're going to has chairs.
Or you have a buddy?
Oh.
Catlin, make me do a backflip out of frame.
Athletic.
That was an unexpectedly long little segue that we took on that article. But you know what's taken unexpectedly a short amount of time? YouTube's new hum to search feature.
Hum to search.
So you can find the music that you're looking for on YouTube.
I
And
need this.
Actually, this has been on Google for a little while. Did you know that?
No.
But now it's faster on YouTube. It's going to take about 3-ish seconds for you to get your song identified, whereas the version on YouTube took 10 to 15 seconds. So this is mighty fast. It's going to be rolling out. Hum those tunes to get what you want. And let's talk about some other stuff that's been expected this week. We talked about how Threads was going to launch a desktop mobile website. It's out. Also, Xbox Game Pass games now out on GeForce Now. That actually happened. Here's a whole bunch of games that are coming out for Xbox and the GeForce Now, so you can play
Look
them
it
on your mobile stuff. So that's all expected stuff. What was unexpected, Apple backing a right to repair bill in California.
I do not believe you.
It actually happened with the iFixit CEO coming out and saying that this is a watershed moment for consumer rights, and it feels like the Berlin Wall of tech repair monopolies is starting to crumble brick by brick. This seems to be a very, very big deal. Now, this is a specifically Californian-based law, so it's only applied to things in that state, and it will make it so that repair products that are $50 to $100 have to be serviced 3 years after the last time the product was sold. If it's over $100, it has to be 7 7 years. Additionally, there's fines involved in not actually providing all of those details, with Apple saying in a letter to one of the state senators who's working on this bill, saying, "We support this because it includes requirements that protect individual user safety and security, as well as product manufacturers' intellectual properties. We will continue to support the bill so long as it continues to provide protections for customers and innovators."
Unexpected.
It's here. Oh, it's moving forward. So we'll obviously keep you posted on how far this goes. There obviously might be some more right to repair oriented creators who might talk about how this actually affects things, because even with that John Deere situation that came out, there was a lot of negativity surrounding that right to repair bill specifically. So we'll defer to some experts as we get more information. We'll keep you
on the
posted
surface. Looks great.
Yes, and on the surface, the Cybertruck did not look great. We talked in yesterday's episode of Hot News
with the Elon Musk jump scare.
Elon got to check it out, but in those pictures, there was like some fitment issues. Like, look at this frunk. What is that giganto gap in there? Turns out Elon Musk asked him the same question, sent an email to the Tesla team last night talking about how it's not good enough due to the nature of the Cybertruck, which is made of bright metal with mostly straight edges. Any dimensional variation shows up like a sore thumb, and that needs to be corrected, stating specifically, all parts for this vehicle, whether internal or from suppliers, need to be designed and built to sub 10 micron accuracy. That means all part dimensions need to be to the third decimal place in millimeters, and tolerances need to be specified in a single digit microns. If Lego and soda cans, which are very low cost, can do this, so can we. This is one of the biggest things that Tesla vehicles have suffered from for a while. You're spending $150,000 and then you can stick your finger in a panel gap because the alignment, the fitment, none of it works. It seems like the Cybertruck likely gonna get delayed. Elon not happy with it. We'll see how that progresses. But, oh man, Nvidia came out with the progress of a lifetime, talking about how much money they made in the recent quarter. And it is like unprecedentedly insane. This puts them at a higher revenue level than Intel. Intel,
what the heck?
Used to make more money than everybody, AMD and Nvidia combined. Nvidia now makes more money than Intel, and Intel is in a little bit of a down year, but they're not like collapsing or anything. It's insane. $13.5 billion in the latest quarterly revenues, with the data center making up a lot of it. So AI, obviously the H100 GPUs, you can see all the way back here in Q3 of the financial year of 2022, you see that gaming was beating out the data center at $3.2 billion to 2.9. Same thing in Q4. Q1 of financial year 2023 shifted that a little bit. And then after that, because Nvidia was roping all of the mining numbers into gaming, that collapsed and it was down to 1.5 billion at its lowest point. Now in the latest quarter, it is up 22% to be at 2.4 billion, but that doesn't matter anymore because they made 10.3 billion from AI cards.
How big is that jump?
That is insane. They went from less than 3 million about 2 years ago to 10.3 billion.
It's those H100, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely the H100s. We talked about how there's about 1,000% margin on those graphics cards in how they're selling them. The cost to make them is not very high. They are profiting tremendously. They're sold out through the rest of 2024. They're going to be increasing production through 2024, and they're still sold out of all of that. That number's just going to get bigger. Gaming doesn't matter if it's increasing. Jensen didn't mention it at all. He didn't bring up gaming once. He talked about AI and cloud computing, nothing about gaming. Doesn't care.
Some of our friends.
Now, the CFO did discuss gaming. She went on to talk about a few different things, specifically laptop GPUs being with strong growth, desktop GPUs also having some strong growth, 22% quarter on quarter, nothing to sneeze at. Nvidia making some big moves there. But that's a business revolution shift right there.
You cannot tell me that they're looking at these numbers and gonna be like, what are we even doing with gaming anymore?
Exactly. They made $13.5 billion. If they cut out gaming entirely, they are still earning more money than they did in any previous quarter ever.
And they don't have to deal with gamers.
They don't have to deal with our complaining. They can deal with the behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, this is going to have ripple effects in the gaming industry for years to come. AI is not a passing fad. I think that it's a little overhyped in certain sectors.
At the moment, yeah.
But they're going to continue to have strong growth numbers. AMD doesn't have anything coming down the pipeline that seems to be able to compete with Nvidia. Intel is also just kind of giving up on the data center to some extent, especially with AI stuff. Nvidia is going to continue to make this kind of money, if not more, as they produce more cards. This is not going to change. This spells bad news for Nvidia ever caring about gamers again. We just don't matter.
Those numbers are still shocking.
It is alarming just how much money they made in Q2 of financial year 24. It's insane. And just like Nvidia had something that never happened before, we're going to do something that we haven't done in an episode of Hot News before. We're going to do a little bit of comment response. We're going to discuss some of the comments that y'all left on yesterday's episode of Hot News, and we'll see if this is a segment we keep, if we work on, if we dispose of, doesn't matter. But Per Lichtman saying, I love how direct your corrections are and how you take responsibility too. Kudos. I used to only watch occasionally, but it seems like I'm here every day recently because of how well you've been handling recent tricky topics. Builds confidence in your other coverage too. I appreciate that. That's one of the things that I really try to work on. Like, I can't get everything right the first time, but I will sure as heck try to make sure that we will correct it, we will move forward, and most errors are my fault. That's like, that's who I am as a person. All of my problems are my fault and not other people's. 16 Jet says, so the new PSP is just a Wii U but worse. That's I never made the connection, but in a certain way,
it's a little bit
less
like
functional, because
the
gamepad on the Wii U could also like do stuff, whereas this one won't be able to do stuff.
You need to like tether it at least.
Yeah. But Piotr bringing up a good point, saying, I really hope they tested the design. I can already picture those controllers on the PlayStation
That was my
Portable
first thought when I first saw
open.
it. Is just somehow one's gonna crack and like break off.
Yeah.
We're gonna have pictures of that like a month after these things release. That it's just
we're gonna see tech cracks use it as a boomerang and like try to chuck and break them. Jerry rig everything.
He's gonna do it.
He's gonna do it. Also, little Nicky Scarfo appreciated the CPU condom statement.
You're welcome.
And Jorge from the Bazite team, which was the SteamOS little situation we talked about, saying that a lot of Linux stuff that I don't fully understand, he did correct me saying it's not emulation. It's a great showcase of the power of Linux containerization. I misspoke. I said emulation when I meant to say virtualization, but also, I'm gonna be honest, Jorge, I don't fully understand your comments because I'm not that deep into Linux. I understand the basics, but I don't understand all of it.
I know how to turn a computer on.
That's the quality of content you're dealing with here. But also Adina Sue saying that they backed Eve way in the back when they got tired of the continual just a few more months and demanded a refund. They eventually had to do a chargeback, and the customer support representative they spoke to at the credit card company made it seem like they weren't the first person to have an issue with Eve.
I can imagine it was quite an issue.
So shortly after they started the name change to Doe, if they do manage to clean up their horrible reputation, they're going to have to change their name a third time.
Ouch, that's spicy.
It's essentially what I've noticed being an observer of what's gone on with that company, but I'm sorry to hear that happened to you, but I'm glad you got a chargeback at least filed so that you could get your money back. Blue Gizmo said, BTW frame generation is a great feature. I don't understand why people hate on it. I love it and use it whenever a game supports it, and I have a 4090, so I don't even need to use it, but having max quality settings and high frame rates is fantastic. I don't like it because it makes the gameplay worse because it adds latency. The latency is bad. I do think a lot of people who complain about frame generation haven't tried it, but I also think that it caters to that lizard part of gamers' brains that say higher number equal better.
Higher number equal better.
And it doesn't matter what the number is. If I turn off my FPS counter and I have DLSS 2 and frame generation turned on and I switch between them, I don't like frame generation because the response is worse. The game feels worse to play regardless of whatever the frames per second actually is.
I want to know something. How many of you actually play with the FPS counter on?
Oh man, I think a lot of people.
I want to know because
I don't like that.
I don't ever have it on.
I think that's unhinged behavior. No, that's not true. I think it makes sense to turn on the first time you play a game, but as like you're playing it throughout the time, it's just enjoy the game.
Someone brought up recently that they couldn't play a game because it was dipping down at parts, and I was just like, I played the exact same game that you did on the exact same system that you did. didn't
fine.
bother me in the slightest.
Pete Moss says, happy birthday, Kyler. About that Corsair standing desk, I'm going to guess $6,000 fully to build it up like they have in the pictures. I agree, because they had like the lights and everything. I think the desk with the rails and stuff is definitely going to be cheaper.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as soon as you start adding Elgato accessories, it's going to get a little pricey.
I have a ton of Elgato products. I agree.
Oh boy. And you guys can agree as to whether or not to keep that comment response stuff and how we can formulate it to be better. Also, our editor might not necessarily enjoy editing a video this long. But we'll see you back here for more hot news on Monday.
Bye.
Toodaloo.